So our cue is the end of this song.
Huh?
Okay. What?
I didn't know we were being recorded.
Yes.
Surprise.
I'm sorry about that.
Good thing I did put effort into my look today.
Yes, well, we rehearsed plenty, so I'm not worried about it.
I think if you would have told me I was being recorded, I would have done it.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah. But that's just a me thing.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to Microaggressions, a culturally responsive approach. So we'll begin with a land acknowledgement. I'm wondering, is there anyone who'd like to read the land acknowledgement in English and in Spanish? Yeah? No, it's okay if you don't want to, but yeah. Woohoo! All right.
Oh, God. I'm so sorry, I can't see. We, the Adams State University community, gratefully acknowledge the indigenous people on those ancestral lands we gather. This beautiful San Luis Valley is sacred, to many indigenous nations, including the Utes.
The Utes, Jicarilla, Apaches, Comanches, Kiowas, Arapaho, Cheyenne, Navajo Nation, Pueblos, and all other First Peoples who once made this valley their home.
We honor these diverse communities that historically dwelled here and those who currently reside in the San Luis Valley. We know that honoring these lands is a reflective process that demands continued engagement and action. May we always remember the journey of the past people who've called this valley home.
All right, great work. Thank you. Thank you so much. All right, and let's see. Dr. Flo, would you do the honors?
Nosotros, la comunidad de Adams State University, reconocemos con gratitud a los pueblos indígenas en cuyas tierras ancestrales nos juntamos. Este hermoso Valle de San Luis es sagrado para diversas naciones indígenas, que incluyen todos esos, y todos los otros pueblos originarios que creaban un hogar en este valle. Honramos a la diversidad de las comunidades que históricamente moraban aquí y aquellos que hoy en día viven en el Valle de San Luis. Sabemos que honrar a las tierras es un proceso reflexivo y demanda un continuo compromiso y acción, sea que recordemos siempre el viaje de los antepasados que llaman a este valle hogar.
All right, thank you so much, Dr. Flo. All right. So, next slide. So there is nothing micro about microaggressions. So microaggressions are everyday, subtle, intentional, and often unintentional interactions and behaviors that communicate some sort of bias towards historically marginalized peoples. Next.
All So before we begin here, we're going to set the tone because talking about microaggressions can be hard. It can make people uncomfy, and we just don't like talking about it. But we're going to entirely talk about it at depth today. So by engaging in unfamiliar conversations, we discover the lived experiences of our colleagues, better understand each other, and grow together. So in this environment, assume good intent. We're learning, this is a learning environment. Speak from your lived experiences because this will help those who haven't experienced microaggressions understand them. Avoid generalization and homogenization. Participants may share confidential information. What is shared here stays in the room, and what is learned is shared with our communities. Just kidding, still mine. We are going to start this off by taking 30 seconds to do a pondering exercise. It's not going to take long, and we are going to think about an experience that comes to mind when you observed or experienced a microaggression. You can write down your experience, or you can share it with a neighbor, but it's going to be quick, so we're going to take 30 seconds to kind of think about that.
All right, thank you. So hold that thought, because we will come back to this later on in the presentation, okay? So let's talk about what are microaggressions. So there are 3 different kinds. So first of all, there is microinvalidation, which is discrediting or minimizing a person's lived experience. Microassault is passive-aggressive or evasive speech or actions. And then finally, micro-insult, which are rude or insensitive comments that are especially related to someone's heritage or identity.
And now we're going to get into depth on some of those definitions. A common one is feeling like an alien in one's own land. I think we might have experienced this at some point or another in various different cultures and various different settings. This happens, or more commonly, is when Asian Americans and Latino Americans are assumed to be foreign-born. Where are you really from? Where are you born? You speak good English. The message that could get interpreted here is, you're not American, you are a foreigner. In my own experience, it happens in the Valley all the time. And some of it may be unintentional, some of it may be blatantly intentional, but I often get asked if I'm from Mexico. I'm not. I've never been there. I've been born and raised in this valley the whole time, but it's assumed because I have an accent that must have been where I came from. Now that I'm older, I understand that, but it used to make me feel weird on a very subtle level. Then it kept happening, and I'm like, I'm not from anywhere else. And so you may have unintentionally done this, you may have unintentionally said this, you may have blatantly just said this in good heart, but it can be a microaggression. Next slide.
All right, so now we're going to practice how to change and break the prejudice habit. So we have handouts here that we'll hand out to different tables. So there are actually 5 different ones, and so most tables will have different experiences. All right, so we would like you to match the statements with their possible interpretations, and then we'd like you to look at one of those statements and rewrite it. So how could you make it so that it no longer had a hidden or a negative message? And then I'll ask for someone to share out from your group. It's all voluntary, but here we go. So take about 5 minutes to discuss amongst yourselves. Okay, you have the next two and then the following exercise.
Just run the mic to the other tables.
And you're going to have them share. I hope your shoes are tied. Hope your shoes are tied.
Huh?
Have you running?
Yeah, I got you.
Yeah, because otherwise, maybe next time we can do breakout sessions and have them report back. Yeah.
Start your talking to me.
Nah, I can't.
Did we want to do some table checks? Make sure they're not confused. Okay, I'm going to put this down so I don't like drop it.
All right, everybody, take another 30 seconds to wrap it up. Yeah, 10 more seconds. Okay. All right, so come on back. I'm curious. Did you have an opportunity to rewrite one of those statements? Would someone like to share? Yes, great.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So it's talking about microaggression, and my thoughts of it was it's kind of stereotyping every single time it's making an assumption. Like, for example, to a woman with a headscarf, what are you hiding in there? To a female graduate student, you're sure opinionated. Sounds like if we were able to minimize stereotyping, then you can minimize microaggression.
All right.
Oh, sorry.
Thank you very much. All right. Great. And who else might be willing to share?
If I see you avoiding me, I might ask you directly. Anyone else want to share out? All right.
Okay, one of ours was you throw like a girl, and we rewrote it to say nice arm.
Thank you.
Why would throwing like a girl be a microaggression?
Because it implies that a girl or a woman can't throw as good as a guy or a male.
Right? And I've seen softball players with a pretty strong arm, so that's very debatable. All right. Anyone else?
Were there any comments or thoughts based on some of the situations presented on the handout?
We have one. I saw someone point their finger up. All right. This table hasn't said anything. Anyone have any comments about it? Anyone have a comment about the handout? No? What would be the most important one?
So the one on the fourth one down, a white woman to a black woman, right? As a woman, I understand what you experience as a minority. You know, it's I think of the intersectional aspect with this. You know, and how it's not some sort of oppression Olympics, right? We're all trying to figure out who has it harder than others. So thinking about it in those ways, I think can be helpful.
It's not the oppression Olympics. That's a good way to say that. All right. We have another hand over here.
On our handout, a lot of the column A statements could match to multiple column B statements. Like there's one on column A that matched to 3 column B. And it's not necessarily a one-to-one comparison.
So it can have various interpretations, right? That's why we don't know with microaggressions. We don't know how someone's going to interpret them. It can have a varying effect on anyone, but it could still make someone feel weird, that wasn't right. And then at the end of the day, they go home and they don't know how to process that.
Right. Any final takers on that? Anyone else like to share any thoughts or comments or rewritten statements? Yes.
I guess I wanted to say people of your background are unintelligent. Not me specifically, but my son went to School of Mines, and he's actually an aerospace engineer, which I don't think there's very many of them that come out of the Valley. And when he was there, everyone kept telling him he wasn't Hispanic. So he's tall, he's 6 foot, very light complected, thin. He doesn't look like your typical Hispanic, and so they constantly, everywhere he went, told him that he wasn't Hispanic. And so I think he felt really unappreciated and devalued because of that. So the really interesting thing he did, he put a Lady of Guadalupe tattoo on his arm to reflect his culture. So.
Thank you very much. Yeah. Great. Anyone else like to share? All right. Take it away, Melissa.
I think that's a great stepping stone to the next slide, because he was judged on his intelligence just because he looked a certain way. It might have not been outright, but it's these subtle things that slowly add up over time, and it can mess with one's own insecurity, it can mess with your confidence, it can make you feel unvalued. So, ascription of intelligence, assigning intelligence to a person based on race. That's exactly what that is. So, a definition would be inferring white traffic controllers are smarter and more qualified just because they are white. No, it's with air traffic control, you either know it or you don't, right? Color blindness, statements indicating that one does not want to acknowledge race, heritage, culture, and identity. I don't see color, quote unquote. It can invalidate an individual's experience and culture just with that one saying. Assumption of criminal status. A person of color is presumed to be dangerous, criminal, or deviant based on their race. Women clutch their purse when a Black or Hispanic or Latino person is approaching. You're saying, you are dangerous, I have to move my purse to the other side. And we may have intentionally done it at one point, unintentionally, but why? You don't know the person. Are you actively being robbed? Why is that? Has it been so ingrained in our culture that it's just a natural behavior? And then last but not least, denial of individual racism, when a person denies their racial biases. I have Black friends. The message could be that I am immune to racism because I have friends of color. No, now you just made everyone uncomfortable. That's pretty much what that could be. So we're going to move into the next slide. And we're going to go right into those nonverbal microaggressions. Following someone around the store because you think they're going to steal. Eye rolling when someone mentions feeling invalidated. I feel that a lot with my family. Turning away from or avoiding someone altogether. That is arguably just an aggression, because why are we doing that in a workplace? Scheduling meetings or events that conflict with religious observances or obligations. Ordering food for events and not considering the dietary restrictions of others. Only allowing certain people to work on high visibility projects. I know I've observed a handful of those today already. And they're pretty unintentional. A lot of people just don't know that they're using them. They have good intention. They want to get to know about a person. They didn't know that they're conflicting a meeting because that person's schedule was full already. Oh, I didn't know your religious event was that day. So bringing to light the microaggressions that we use, and how can we be conscious enough to check them before we say them? So coming back to your experience with a microaggression, that ponder we started off with, take 30 seconds and think about whether it was a satisfactory response, unsatisfactory response, or no response. And I might pick on a couple people.
Yeah, take about 30 seconds. Either think or talk about it at your table as you wish. All right. So come on back.
Coming back to the presentation, anyone have any burning thought they want to share out right now?
This is purely voluntary. If you'd like to share something that is anonymized, you're welcome to do that.
Oh, no one is wanting to share. We want individual experiences, but it's okay if you don't want to.
Good. All right. So let's just review for a moment what microaggressions are. And let me draw your attention to the swag table over there. Okay, so at the end, I'll ask a little bit about what are microaggressions and how can we stop them. So just to review, microaggressions are microinvalidation, discrediting or dismissing someone's lived experience, microassaults, which is passive-aggressive or evasive behavior or actions, and microinsults, rude, insensitive comments that disrespect someone's identity. All right, so let's go down to pathologizing cultural values and communication styles. So microaggressions can occur in speech, and especially we might encounter something like this in class. So just, I didn't like to talk, so I got this a lot. Okay, so to an Asian or Latinx person, why are you so quiet? We want to know what you think. Speak up more. Also, asking a black person, why do you have to be so loud or animated? Calm down. I just heard this on a news show, someone talking about this particular microaggression. Right? Also, dismissing an individual who brings up ethnicity or race or culture in a work or a school setting. So those are ways that we may encounter microaggressions and privileged dominant culture.
I've definitely been told to speak up more a lot, which is ironic because here I am.
So the myth of meritocracy. So it's interesting that Melissa brought up the air traffic controllers because this came up just a few weeks ago. So the statement that asserts that race does not play a role in life success. The most qualified person should get the job. Everyone can succeed in society if they work hard. So the playing field isn't always level, and it's good to acknowledge that.
How to offend without really trying. This is where we use those microaggressions every day, and we don't even think about it. It might be because your field of work, are you at home with your friend or your spouse? Are you at a party or a comedy show?
All right. So to begin, that's so gay. I Jewed him down. Indian giver. She Welshed on a bet.
That's so white of you. You people, we got gypped, imitating accents or dialects. All microaggressions.
Yes.
How many of you have heard them in comedy or movies or social media? They're used every day.
Yeah. Rebecca.
So sometimes whenever I'm on social media, some video pops up and I'm just like, okay, that's not very nice, and I just immediately just stop watching it. And
Thank you. Yeah, I can think of the Indian accent on The Simpsons.
On The Simpsons, that's definitely controversial. There's been quite a few microaggressions in a lot of popular culture. And the goal is to bring awareness to your biases and how they impact people.
All right, so let's talk about how you stop microaggressions. And very shortly, you might win some swag from being able to say, give us some examples. So think before you speak. Ask, do I need to say that? Is it really helpful? Could it be offensive?
If you're not sure, Use micro affirmations. Say things that lift people up, that welcome them, that honor their presence.
And practice cultural humility. Practice not knowing. So don't assume that you know who people are. Practice taking a position where you can learn from other people. All right, so take one more look at that slide. And let's go to the next. Good. So let's see if we have time. I think we do. All right, go ahead. Could you play the video, Jared?
On the previous slide.
So microaggressions are like mosquitoes.
Mosquito bites and their itch are one of nature's most annoying features. But if you're only bitten every once in a while, where are you really from? Cleveland. Sure, it's annoying, but it's not that big a deal. The problem is that some people get bitten by mosquitoes a lot more than other people. I mean, a lot more. Whether it's on a date. Oh, your English is so good. Excuse me? Grocery shopping. No, everything happens for a reason. Commuting to work. So we got a baby. Watching TV. Or just walking down the street with your partner. How come you didn't tell me we're gay? Mosquitoes seem to pop up everywhere. Of course, beyond just being annoying, some mosquitoes carry truly threatening diseases that can mess up your life for years. Astrophysicists? Maybe you should try this challenging nature. And other mosquitoes carry things that can even kill you. Look like he's up to trouble, okay? I felt threatened. So next time you think someone's overreacting, just remember, some people experience mosquito bites all the time. You're so exotic, wow. And by mosquito bites, we mean microaggressions.
Okay, great. So microaggressions are also like paper cuts. So a paper cut is a small nick, but when they happen all the time, it can cause lasting pain. And so that lasting trauma endures even through an implied insult.
So while we may not catch them every time we do them or experience them, because we're human, we're not capable of all that. We really are, though. The important part is to be aware and more conscious of them in order to correct them. That way you can approach those around you like, hey, maybe don't say it that way because people are going to interpret it wrong.
Great. All right, it is time to review. Okay. Would you go out with the microphone and help people speak up? All right, so I have a question for you. So you may choose something from the swag table for answering these questions. So in micro-invalidation, what is it? All right, how about micro-assault? How about a micro-insult? Yes, micro-insult. What does it sound like?
I heard words.
Yes, I did. Great. Go ahead.
Go for it. Like the purpose is to like aim to make someone feel bad.
Yes. Great. Come on up and take something from our swag table. Woo!
Woo!
Great. Great. All right, so let's talk about stopping microaggressions. So can anyone name one of the ways you can stop a microaggression? Yes.
Bodily harm. That's just aggression. That's not micro.
I guess taking that thoughtful pause and thinking about what you're going to say before you say it.
All right.
Thank you.
Woo.
Come on up. Great. All right. What's another suggestion? Yes, over here.
Stopping microaggressions.
One way we can stop a microaggression is by doing a micro validation and saying, responding in a way that affirms the person that was just aggressed.
Right? Micro uplifts instead of aggressing.
Great. Thank you, Dr. Flo. And there's one more. Relates to curiosity. All right, so just practice not knowing. You know, you may not know anything about someone, and therefore be curious. Yes?
So I was going to say one example I've been doing recently is whenever I'm about to say something, I just usually just think of what I'm going to say, and then I just change the wording around so it sounds more positive and not very negative.
You're being intentional about how you're speaking, which is very great.
Thank you. Come on up. All right, does anyone have anything to add? What is a micro invalidation? What is a micro assault?
Micro insults.
We got the micro insults, yeah? Yep. And so microaggression, micro assault, micro invalidation. So we had an example of a validating comment. What would be an invalidating comment? All right. Anyone else like to make any comments or have any questions before we close?
All right.
All right. Thank you, Melissa.
Thank you, Artemis. Thank you, everyone. Have a great day. If you have any questions, please let us know.
Great. Okay. Good.
Hello, everyone. Thank you all so much for coming to our second Kindred Spirits Luncheon. Our third one is set for February 26th. February 26th, and it's Connecting with the Archives, a tool for engaging histories of the Valley. And that will be presented by the Nielsen Librarians. Same time, same place. Thank you all. Have a great, great day.